Oh god.
Alright, bro. Alright. Yeah, I could use a piece of weaponry. That would be very appreciated.
Oh god! Ouch.
Yeah, there's someone coming in. I can't even see him because it's so bright. It's bright, bro.
I'm sorry. I is dead.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
I remember the times when games were just about having fun growing up in the 80s. Atari and ColecoVision hadn't overtaken board games at the time, and they were finally sent to extinction by the launch of our first actual system, the Nintendo Game System. A new dawn for console gaming had been born and continued to evolve as cartridges finally gave way to discs, with two new companies in Sony and Microsoft joining the gaming world. Then shit really got exciting when Al Gore invented the internet.
To introduce the host of the Kyoto Global Warming Convention, the inventor of the environment and first emperor of the moon, Al Gore.
I have ridden the mighty moonworm.
And we all got to play games together without going over to each other's houses on Friday night with Pizza Hut and whatever game we scored from Blockbuster. LAN parties and online gaming was so much fun, and we all enjoyed it, but then things began to change as video games became more and more legitimate, and fun started being replaced by dreams of job not just building games, but playing them. Fun started to be the one thing that got thrown to the side when considering if you were going to play a video game or not. So when Wes said this...
Like, all of these things are all going back into that same mindset, which is discover these characters and play all of them and see which one that you like. If you're coming into this with that mindset of, no, I want to play this one specific character, this is my character, and I'm not even going to look at any others. I mean, I guess you can if that's the way you want to play it, but I'm guaranteeing you're only going to see a fraction of the fun that can be in this game. And fun is the most crucial piece of this, right? Is the thing I want you to like take away from this is like the game's supposed to be fun. The game's not supposed to be competitive, right? Like that's not the point of the game. The point of the game is get in and have a blast and feel like you're living in the world of Texas Chain Saw Massacre. That's the point.
I was ecstatic. Let's be fair. F13 was all about fun until the lawsuit killed in November of 2020. Yes, I know the servers are still live until New Year's Eve of 2024, but the game is done. It's never getting another update. I originally didn't even want to play DBD. I played Friday the 13th first and loved rolling up on camp counselor with Savini Jason or New Blood Jason, or just having fun trying to stop Jason escaping, whether it was by the boat and having him chase behind me in his ridiculously fast swimming, or just making it to the morning playing a elaborate game of hide and seek. But then in October 17, they did add my favorite villain of all time, Freddy Krueger, even though it was, you know, Jackie Earle Haley Freddy, and God, I hope someday they add actual Freddy to the game, but I digress. And I've been playing Dead by Daylight now. It will be 6 years in October. And a lot of other games, for that matter, just keep getting more and more sweaty, competitive, and excuses for why it isn't about fun and is about why it should be an esport. Listen, if you're already promoting Texas Chain Saw as a potential esport game, then please stop. It's the intention of the team, and it's the last thing the community really wants. The breath of fresh air that comes from the fact that you can play a couple of matches and then just log off without having to worry that you're falling behind in the competitive world is awesome. If you want to dive into the trees and the perks and workshop builds, go right ahead. That's fine. But trying to hijack the game into a sweat fest isn't a good idea. If that's your bag, go back to DBD, let's be honest, because you most likely came there, or you were a sweaty, evil, dead demon who just couldn't get enough wins because the balancing issues were so bad, so they need a new game. Right now, we can all see the advantages and disadvantages of both sides in TCM, and that's okay. There will be balancing adjustments in future updates, but let's be real. The game at its core is a spiritual successor of Friday the 13th, and that was built on the foundation of being a party game. You couldn't even pick a side in that game. You just logged in, and you're like, I would prefer to be, you know, Jason. And the game would be like, fuck your face, I'm going to be whatever I tell you you're going to be. And you played the match, and then you GG'd, go next. That was the beauty of it. It was a party game. And now, Gun has even gone a step further with allowing you to choose which side you can play on. So you don't even have to be like, I prefer to be Jason, and then you're a camp counselor. It's, I prefer to be Leatherface. Well, maybe you're not Leatherface, but you're on the same team. This allows you to focus your attention on whichever side you prefer. If you prefer being a victim and want to work on those types of builds and characters, you can. If you prefer being a family member, you can work on them. And that's something that Gun has given us. They've given us awesome skill trees that we can refund infinitely if we want to keep working. Same with our perks. And you basically can craft characters differently every time. There's even perk layouts, so you can do what you want to do with them. And you can focus on them without having to be randomly thrown into a specific side. That's fun. It doesn't have to be, though, how do I do this so that way I make sure I 4K everyone for our comp matches. If you get a 4K or 0K as family, it's still fun. Just GG, go next. Hit E right next to next game. Or switch sides if you want a breath of fresh air. That's okay, too. The simplicity that has left so many gamers, unfortunately, about how having fun is a bad thing is really sad. And I'm glad that Gun Media is trying to put that back into gaming, because winning isn't paramount. Like, you shouldn't be, if you lose a match, it's the end of the world. That is not what video games were for. Video games were created to be a relaxing, fun medium, much like board games, which people take too far too. But it's okay to just enjoy it for what it is. There was days when I was growing up that we would play a board game of Risk that might take an entire week in our neighborhood before someone finally won all the countries. And so we're used to patience and having fun that might not be an immediate feedback. But TCM is a game that takes, what, 15 minutes tops, no matter what map you're playing on. So you can always just GG go next if something goes wrong. Like, you had a shitty match, you didn't get any kills, you had low points, you got killed by Bubba instantly, who cares? GG, go next. That's the beauty of it. This is not a competitive game. And I'm not saying competition is bad, but the comp players need to go away. If you're already doing a campaign to be TCM's an esport, go back to wherever you came from. This is not the game for you, because you are clearly ignoring the intentions of the creators of the game to do what you want to do. It's all about you at that point. Gun has made it very clear that this is not the intention for this. They want to take the ASIM world back to where it was during Friday the 13th. The last game that was really a true party game. Not to say that Ilphonic's Ghostbusters, who also Ilphonic was part of the team that made Friday the 13th, didn't make a good shot at it, because it is a really, really fun party game. But they just don't have the player base to support that, and it looks like TCM will. Listen, I'm here on my soapbox, and you can take it for whatever it's worth. I'm just a guy with a little YouTube channel. But I think if you look at this game as a source of fun and entertainment, and not a potential esport, you'll have a lot more fun, and you'll be able to be a lot more creative with what you do. Because then you're throwing love and support and creativity at a game you truly enjoy for fun's sake, and you want to try to maximize that fun. Sure, wanting to win matches isn't bad, but we don't need to take it to the next level, because that's not what this is about. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think I'm on the right path following the words of Gun and not trying to make this an esport? Or do you think the people out there that are already like, this isn't where we need to go, are they right? I want to hear everyone's perspective on it, because this is just my 2 cents and how I feel about it. But as always, thank you for watching, and later, mates.